I brought together the 3 most powerful factions in the Mojave Wasteland, and I'm making them wage war against each other for 1/10 of a million caps. That's right, 100,000 caps. The stakes have never been higher. Each faction will face off in their own series of challenges across the deserts, from a hostile takeover of power, stage 4 brain cancer, to a team deathmatch held right on top of Hoover Dam itself. And did I forget to mention, the last faction standing will not only get 100,000 caps, but also the entirety of Hoover Dam, and thus full control of the Mojave Desert. But let's take a look at our factions. First up, the Californian government from Temu. Say hello to the new Californian Republic. It's a bureaucrat's fever dream where democracy, capitalism, and crippling government inefficiency collide in one glorious mess. And the main ambassador for this faction? This is Colonel Moore. With the prize money, Colonel Moore has promised us that the government will become exponentially more corrupt than it already is. Yes, citizen, I assure you, President Kimball really needed his 4th vertibird. Colonel Moore, with all her wisdom, will also be implementing taxes to every citizen of New Vegas. Next up, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's a flat screen TV of Dr. House, Season 3, Episode 19.
Do you have hair in your special place?
Mr. House, who is currently on a Discord call with me, has told me that he wants to accomplish his one true goal with the prize money: to restore New Vegas to its original pre-war beauty. And to achieve such a goal, he will be using his vast control of the casinos, an army of Securitrons, as well as a low-resolution JPEG of his face. Last and certainly least, highly accurate cosplay, with war crimes included. Led by a man who calls himself Caesar, Caesar's Legion operates under the bold strategy: what if we remade ancient Rome, but with more sand and significantly fewer ethics? With the prize money of the 1/1000th of 100 million caps, Caesar and his armada of troops plan to completely turn every single citizen of California into either a morally corrupt soldier or a slave. Caesar calls it restoring natural order. Historians call it a clear and utter violation of the Geneva Convention. And the NCR calls it Monday. With our contenders set, let's go straight back to Hoover Dam and get this party started.
You got what you were after, so pay up.
You're crying in the rain, Pally.
Guess who's waking up over here?
Time to cash out.
Will you get it over with?
Truth is, the game was rigged from the start.
Okay, so we have run into a small problem. A man in a checkered suit tied me up, stole all of my caps, and inserted a 9mm brass object directly into my forehead. The bad news? This here game show will be slightly delayed, considering that the prize money is gone. The good news, however, my brain skillfully evaded the bullet. That means not all hope is lost, and the games will be back once again. But first, I'm going to have to remember who I actually am, and that is the main focus in my stats is charisma and luck, and as soon as I exit into the rancid open air of the Mojave, my Pip-Boy gets bombarded by 17,000 pop-ups, advertisements, and pre-war crypto scams. These pop-ups also hand me around 3,000 caps worth of items, because currently we are broke, complete, utter cashlessness. If I was any other man, I would give up this challenge right here and join the ghouls of the Mojave in the act of mindless tweaking in the alleyways. But I'm Mr. Beast, and the video must live on. That means that we are going to have to work our way back up to 100,000 caps by any means necessary. I also do want to have a nice conversation with that man in a checkered suit. And as we all know, the center of all things caps related is New Vegas. So we need to start the long trek to that destination. I first try taking the quick route, straight north. The main problem is, the death claws don't take too nicely to their private space being invaded. And by their private space, I mean my current location. So we are going to be forced to travel the long way, down the highway, to the west, and then north all the way up to New Vegas. And unfortunately, I gave away all of my Lamborghinis. So we are going to have to walk the whole way. Let's get going. Partway through the trip, I encounter a burning town with corpses hung on crosses and streets covered in blood. Usually, this would just be another day in the Fallout world, but this time, something's different. This delightful display of carnage was brought to you by none other than Kaiser's Legion. As it stands, I'm broke. And wouldn't you know it, standing right in front of me is a perfect pack of wallets dressed in red. With the threat pacified, I liberate their clothes off their backs, loot their pockets for any donaires they have, and march on. I eventually end up right in front of the entrance to New Vegas, where the gunrunners conveniently await just next door. And lucky for me, they have no moral objections to grave robbing. After selling the evidence of my crimes, I walk away with 3,000 caps, which is around 3/100ths of our way to our end goal. Progress? Technically, yes. Satisfying? Absolutely not. We are going to need a new plan to make money, because unfortunately, I can't kill the entirety of the Legion before the show starts. That would be considered cheating. Now let's enter the New Vegas Strip and witness the dazzling, breathtaking view for ourselves. Wow, this place sucks ass. The reason we are in New Vegas at all is not for the glory, not for the fame, but to gamble. We got 3,000 in the bank, and we could potentially lose it all. But what's a reward without a little risk? The Strip is home to the biggest casinos in the Mojave, but also home to an army of chrome-plated Securitrons. To even step onto that sacred neon pavement of the inner strip, where all the good casinos are, I need to pay 2,000 caps. That's more than half of my current net worth, and I'm not going to spend that kind of money just to possibly lose more of it. Our only option left? We got to hit up the Poor People Casino. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Atomic Wrangler, the most decrepit and foul-smelling casino on the strip. The cards are sticky, the dealer probably sleeps under the table, and that sign is about to fall on my head. It's garbage, but it's all we have for now. So I head to the nearest blackjack table, because let's be honest, it's one of the only forms of gambling where you can pretend skill is involved. There is strategy, there is nuance, there is a method to this madness. Well, at least there should be. If you remember, my luck stat is nearly maxed out. That means I can basically double down on any hand and still win. I don't need to count cards or think ahead. Strategy? That's for peasants. I can hit on a 20, and 90% of the time, I'll draw an ace. Not because it makes sense, not because it's statistically probable, but because blackjack bends to my will. I'm like a god, but for gambling, which is quite sad if you think about it. The Rothschilds family, however, hated seeing another self-pioneering entrepreneur making a fortune, so they sent their hit squad to stop me from gambling. I am currently banned from this casino. There are people who said that there is nothing worse than death. To them, I show them this tragedy. I did make a solid 8,000 caps in total, which means that we can now afford the absurd price to gain access to the inner strip, right after seeing a man getting gunned down in broad daylight. Behold, the inner strip, home to the most functioning light bulbs in what's left of post-war America. There are 3 casinos in the strip that we're allowed to gamble at. The Tops, Gomorrah, and the Ultra Lux. Gomorrah is a sleazy den of sin run by the Omertas. In here, it's all cigarette smoke-filled rooms, rigged slot machines, and prostitutes with a name like Trickle Dick. In the Tops, you'll probably die, either metaphorically by the prices, or literally if you look at the cashier the wrong way. But other than that, the scenery is rather refined, and the music is to die for, quite literally. And finally, we've got the Ultra Lux, a group of masked men so polite and refined that you'll forget that they used to eat people. I am being serious. I attended one of their dinners, and I found a hair on top of my steak, as well as an entire human skull. With introductions out of the way, I firstly enter the Gomorrah and sit at the nearest blackjack table. Cue the montage music.
I'm gonna break my monitor, I swear!
Hold on. This is the man who shot me in the head, stole all of my money, and overall pissed me a little bit off, to say the least. Now, as much as I want to peel the skin off his face with a rusty machete, that is not very Mr. Beast-like, nor advertiser-friendly. So I'm going to have to release him from existence another way. And that way is with money. Firstly, I need a hunting shotgun. Now I could just buy the shotgun literally anywhere else, but I like making things hard for myself. So we are going to loot it from the Bloodborne cave. This is no easy feat, as both the outside and the inside of the cave are infested with cougars. This would have been an easier task if not for the fact I sold my grenade launcher for 23 caps, and currently I am only left with a double-barrel shotgun and 8 sharp sticks. Not the best gear, but it is what it is. Inside the Bloodborne cave, I sneak around, making sure not to alert the legendary cougar. I just have to be completely, utterly silent. I head to the campfire and find my precious. The hunting shotgun. This bad boy fires 12-gauge shots and is required for what I want to do next. After successfully exiting the cave and heading to the nearest crafting bench, I use the donaires that I carefully pickpocketed from a couple legionary bodies, as well as the shell of some 12-gauge bullets to craft a wad of coin-shot shotgun shells. These bullets can turn any unfortunate individual into street residue with nothing else but the pure and raw power of capitalism. I head back to the strip and open the doors to the tops and escort Mr. Benny Boy to a luxurious suite. He tried to bargain for his life, but in this video, I am approaching random people and offering them 10 caps or a spin at the wheel. Benny is our first contestant. Do you want 10 caps or do you want to spin at the wheel?
No, I do not want to spin the wheel.
And we are spinning the wheel. Let's see what you're going to get. Oh, you only get to go home with 5 caps. Sorry to say that, Benny. You failed the challenge. I'm also going to have to take my money back. Anyways, now that that's over, where were we? Ah yes, gambling. Remember, the house always loses. After the casinos kindly donated their money to me through a series of statistically impossible blackjack hands, I walk away with approximately 43,000 caps, which is still less than half of my total goal. And thanks to some alleged suspicious behavior involving 27 consecutive blackjacks, I am now permanently banned from every casino on the strip. I believe it's time for a career change. Instead of a chronic gambler, I am now a domestic terrorist. Welcome to Silver Rush, a highly organized plasma and laser weapons dealer. Their stock of weapons is not only highly valuable, but also highly guarded. If I even lay one finger on the side of a plasma cartridge, I become an involuntary participant in only what I can assume to be their version of optimal customer service. So terrorism is harder than it looks. Well, I guess it's time to become a part of the labor force. I am now a security guard for the Silver Rush. If everything all goes to plan, after 29 years of non-stop 9-to-5 work at minimum wage, I will be able to get my 100,000 caps back. It's a good thing that this man came to relieve me of my duties with his package. Is that a bomb in your pants? Or are you just happy to see me? Well, whatever the case may be, welcome in and enjoy your stay at the Silver Rush. I think it was a bomb. That's tragic. Tragic, yes, but also convenient, since that explosion left all of these completely good, extremely valuable weapons and armor untouched and unguarded. So after looting everything that isn't covered in ashes or chunks of flesh, I leave the Silver Rush and pawn off everything to the gunrunners, which nets me a grand total of 30,000 caps. I am still a little short of my 100,000 cap goal, and the Silver Rush is the only store in the strip which just so happens to be a target of a suicide bomber. So it's time to leave the strip, as there is word of a casino far off to the north, and inside there is a vault with valuables far worth more than the average human being. All we have to do is go down into a vault and listen to a radio. If I had a penny for every time I was hit in the head with a shovel, I would have 3 pennies. The first time was when I was 5 years old. The third time, well, that's what landed me here. This is the Sierra Madre, an abandoned luxury casino, and the one who brought me here was none other than Father Elijah. Who is Father Elijah? No clue. But he has strapped a highly explosive collar to my neck, so I don't exactly get to ask questions here. He then guides me to meet the gang. We have Dog/God, a super mutant with bipolar disorder, and a tendency for mass arson. Then there's the ghoul, Dean Domino. He thinks he's hot shit. He isn't. You'll see why. I'm not gonna waste time on him because our lost friend is Christine. They say actions speak louder than words. Then it's a good thing she can't speak at all. I'll let her explain to you why she is my favorite character in this game. Riveting speech, Christine. Anyways, Father Elijah forces me to do his bidding for a grand 2 hours before I can finally enter the Sierra Madre itself. where I have to rescue the very idiots I just recruited. God/Dog has a volatile panic attack in which I tell him to calm down and to stop overreacting, which works like a charm. Domino then tries to betray me to get those valuables himself. Fortunately, my 6-shooter works on him, resulting in a satisfactory and meaty firework. And Christine, no problems, no drama. She helps me break into the Sierra Madre vault and remains, hands down, the best companion in this DLC. I want to give her a medal, or vocal cords. Now we are inside, and right there is the vault of the Sierra Madre. And inside are 37 bars of pure gold, each around 10,000 caps. Just one is enough to complete my quest, solve all of my financial problems, and possibly start a small nation. But when God devised the 7 deadly sins, he used me as an example for greed. So I take all 37 bars. The weight of all of these gold bars may or may not be over 8 times more than I can physically carry, and I am reduced to only walking. But even encumbered with 370,000 caps worth of gold, I am still faster than your mother. After talking to Father Elijah, he storms down to confront me in person. This goes about as well as you'd expect. Take a moment to admire the artistry of my kill, and then the countdown begins. The alarms are blaring and the bomb collar starts beeping ever more rapidly, and I have got 37 bricks of gold stuck up my ass. I make it about 10 steps outside the vault before my helmet turns into a blood-flavored juice box. Here's the issue. I can't make it out of the facility with every piece of gold before my head detonates. I might have to leave some of the gold behind. But we can circumvent this issue. We can stash the gold bars on Elijah's corpse, sprint the entire way through the facility, and once we end up on the other side of the energy gate, we can go in third person and use the janky Fallout camera system to loot the gold bars from Elijah's corpse. And then we trudge our way through the last section of the facility before we make it home free. All within seconds of my bomb collar exploding. I am now several times richer. But what do you mean the core themes of the Dead Money DLC is about letting go of the past, letting go of greed and obsession, and that we, as the player, must also let go of this greed by not taking these gold bars. And thus, we also learn to let go, just as the others have done thus far. Don't be pedantic. Now I just have to walk all the way back to the gunrunners. Yep, walk. I did this to myself, frankly. One montage later, and I now have 380,000 caps to my name, tripling my final goal of 100,000 caps. Now I did spend a small portion of this money on luxuries, but that's besides the point. The prize money is all accounted for, the contestants are ready, and let the Grease games begin. How these games will work is that the factions can commission me to do 3 and only 3 of their most important tasks, and I can fulfill them in any way I see fit. Think of me as a large monkey's paw. So it's time to spin the wheel again to see who I get to help first. Let's see. Oh, and it's the New California Republic, but let's see what the Colonel wants us to do.
Mr. Least, I will be using all of my commissions to order you to eliminate 3 highly volatile targets. These targets are as follows: the Kings, the Omertus, and the allies of Kaiser, the Khans. Good luck, over and out.
All relatively minor tasks, all for the sake of guaranteeing a safe and riveting speech by the president of the NCR. I do want to take care of the Omertas first, since they were the ones that banned me from gambling at the Gomorrah. Step 1 complete. Let's move on to the next target. Welcome to the Kings, where a crime organization of Elvis Presley impersonators reside. They control the slums of the Strip. Nothing gets in or out of the Strip without them knowing. And the NCR wants me to kill the King of Kings. Discreetly. But I've got a better idea. I propose a game. Russian roulette. Just me and him. But he has a choice of choosing one of 2 weapons. He can either choose to play with Benny's 9mm pistol, or he can play Russian roulette with an anti-material sniper rifle. Oh yes, and he of course has to go first. Now you may be asking, isn't Russian roulette usually played with a revolver? And isn't this just a lousy cover-up for murder? Truth is, the game was rigged from the start. It's time for our last target, the Great Khans, allies of Kaiser's Legion. I'm sure he has nothing but good things to say about them.
The Great Khans are useless fools who will eventually become my slaves.
Well, I guess that's permission for me to, deport them from the plane of existence. 3 jobs assigned, 3 jobs completed to the fullest extent of my abilities. That means it's time for the president to give his greatest speech. A speech that is sure to boost the morale of the troops and reinvigorate the war effort.
Hey guys, it's your boy President Kimball. So we gotta kill the Kaiser and his troops, right? Yeah, go do that. Go team.
The president of the NCR has just been assassinated. This isn't just a morale hit for the NCR. This is total destabilization. Their leader's gone. Their hope is dead. This could be the end for them as competitors. It's the worst case scenario. For them, for the rest of the competitors, it's time to spin the wheel again. It's Caesar's Legion this time. Let's see what the Grand Baldy himself wants me to do this time.
Mr. Brest, you are going to assassinate a couple targets for me. The first of which is very important. You are going to assassinate Mr. House. Don't return to me until you see it done.
Is he allowed to do that? We didn't put up any rules for that? Well, yeah, that's allowed. You can just kill off your competitors. What does Mr. House have to say about this?
This is bullshit. This is an outrage.
Well, sorry Mr. House, but I don't make the rules.
You literally do make the rules.
Shut your mouth. Mr. House, without even getting a chance to make a move, gets swiftly eliminated from the game. A truly tragic loss. Anyways, a member of the Legion has just informed me that the Kaiser wants his brain cancer cured. I don't know how I'm going to do that, and I don't consider myself a medical expert by any means. But I've already given some lucky participants a couple of involuntary lobotomies, so how hard can this be? See? Wasn't that hard. And the Kaiser has one last important task for me. Top secret and highly confidential. Yes, it was I who assassinated President Kimball. It was I who destabilized the entire New Californian Republic. I don't relish in what I did. In fact, I only fulfilled the commission and nothing more. Alright, time to spin the wheel one more time. And it landed on Mr. House. Let's see what his job is. Right. All contestants, well, all remaining contestants are ready for the final battle. How do you feel about the upcoming challenge, Mr. Kaiser?
This is going to be the quickest war I have waged. General Moore is going to eat my shit.
Okay, that's enough. Time to wrap it up. Colonel Moore, although your faction seems to be at a disadvantage, do you think that you could still take the win? Everyone likes an underdog story.
Chat, am I cooked?
An amazing underdog spirit. I'm glad that both sides of the war are having a great and fun time. And I'm changing things up. Thanks to our sponsor of the video, the Sierra Madre Casino. We have increased the prize money from 100,000 caps to 250,000 caps. Now, it's the final challenge for our contestants. Team Deathmatch. Let the battle commence. Both sides start sending in troops from either side. The NCR has snipers on the ridge, and the Rangers are in formation. The Legion, however, has countless men with melee weapons ready to storm the front. And already, both sides are experiencing casualties. The NCR soldiers lay down fire over range, while Kaiser's warriors storm the front with super sledges and power fists. This is going to be a struggle, that's for sure. Oh, but what's this? Kaiser's Legion is gaining ground, and they are pushing all the way to the NCR's base. Let's get some footage from one of NCR's soldiers, which is definitely not me in disguise. From the NCR's perspective, they are slowly losing ground, and all but a few high-ranking elites protecting the top general are left standing. Even with these elite soldiers, they are still no match for the Legion, and finally, the general falls, thus spelling the end of the NCR. A horrific loss for the NCR, General. How do you feel about losing 250,000 caps? And Kaiser, congrats on the win. And do you want to say anything to our viewers?
Please, subscribe, send help.